So hello, everyone. We're live now for this webinar. So thank you very much for joining us at this Your Overseas Home webinar. My name is Ryan Timms and I'm the marketing manager here at Your Overseas Home and Italy Property Guides. So it's great to have you all here with us today, whether you're live or catching up on demand. Today we're joined by Marco from Italian Real Estate Lawyers for our webinar, Purchasing a Property in Italy While Living Abroad. So before we get started, Marco, do you want to give a quick introduction to yourself and to our viewers and provide a little insight of what your company does and what we're going to be covering today?
Sure, absolutely. Thank you. And so, like you said, we are ItalianRealEstateLawyers.com. I'm an attorney. We had a law firm, and we're based in Italy, in the Veneto area, in northern Italy. But we also have offices in America, in Los Angeles and New York. We specialize in real estate transactions, especially for foreigners and English-speaking people. We also do dual citizenship, so we also specialize in Italian citizenship, primarily by descent, so people who have Italian ancestry and want to become Italian citizens by descent while maintaining their original citizenship. And our other website is ItalianCitizenshipassistance.com. So we are one firm, one company, but we specialize on two things. And we help people getting any type of estate in Italy. And our specialty is to treat our clients not really like a law firm, like an attorney that does the attorney work, and that's pretty much it. We want to do more for our clients. Offer, first of all, customized packages. The our clients want normally is our full package. So they want that we assist people from beginning to the end in the purchase process, but also with the with finding property. Like I said before, we can help with any kind of properties, from €1 houses to normal average second homes in Italy, to the properties, hotels, land. So we basically want to help with whatever the needs of the clients are. And our specialty is we assist with the whole process, and we can also assist clients remotely. So normally the full package starts with us gaining an understanding of what the client is looking for, and that's completely free of charge and obligation. So we start with a series of preliminary consultations where basically we try to learn what the client is looking for. And we also offer a service where we look for properties. So the clients tell us what their needs are, and we start to look for properties to try to identify what is it that they're looking for, what is available, and try to send them as many options as possible so that they can see what's available in the market and tell us, if any of those things is
Marco, just quickly, I think people are commenting saying your connection isn't too great. Should we try removing your camera just to see if we can get some better bandwidth? Because I think that people are struggling to hear you what you're saying.
Sure. Let me try that.
So if you just disconnect your camera, there you go. Hopefully that should help with the connection.
Is this any better?
Start again.
Yes,
I think that's better.
Yeah. This is any better. Okay. I hope people confirm that this is better. Okay. They see me, it's fine. I hope they see the slides at least that we are presenting, the PowerPoint presentation. Anyway, this is better, right?
Yeah, I can hear you slightly better. Hopefully it will the people watching can hear better as well. So apparently it's still crackling up a little bit. So maybe can you come slightly closer to the screen, and we can try that as well.
Sure. Let me know if this is better. I hope so. Still not good.
I think it's better. Maybe have you got are you on Wi-Fi? Have you got yeah, I guess let's try one more slide and then hopefully it will pull through better.
Okay, let me try to do something very quickly. This is all live, so things like this can happen. Hold on 1 second.
Yeah, I do apologize to our listeners. We can hopefully get Marco up and running soon. So yeah, these things happen. So I think Marco is going to reconnect and join and hopefully have better connection. So yeah, thank you, Peter and Emma, and all to the listeners that have notified us. We'll be back up shortly, and we can get cracking on the presentation.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I think I can hear you a lot clearer, actually.
Is this any better?
Yes, that's much better.
Okay, sorry about that. If you confirm it's better, then I will just go on.
Yeah, that's perfect. I think that's a lot better. So maybe just give a quick introduction again, because I think it was cracking up a lot. I know we're 7 minutes in, but if you can do...
I will be very quick. Yes, I was just saying basically that we are a law firm. We are based in Italy, in the Veneto region, but we also have offices in America, in New York and Los Angeles, and that I am an attorney, but we want to try to do things differently from what a normal Italian attorney would do. So we want to go beyond what the services of a normal attorney are and try to offer more to our clients. I was also saying before that we have a branch of our company that specializes in Italian citizenship by descent, and we have a separate website for that is called Italiancitizenshipassistance.com. So we not only specialize in acquiring properties for our clients, but we also specialize in getting our clients Italian citizenship primarily by descent. So people who have Italian ancestry. And just before I go any further, you confirm that you hear me correctly, right?
We can hear you perfectly now. Thank you very much for sorting
That's
that.
very good. So then I started to say that we try to offer customized packages to our clients that want to purchase real estate in Italy, and we basically start with a series of free preliminary consultations where our clients tell us or try to explain to us what they're looking for, and so the preliminary consultation is to understand the client's needs. And then I was saying before that our most requested service is our full package, where basically we assist the client in acquiring real estate in Italy, and we handle the process from the very beginning to the end. So the process starts with a series of preliminary consultations where we understand what our client's needs are, and then we handle the whole purchase process. Some clients also commission to us the search of a property. So they hire us to not only handle the transaction from beginning to end, but also to present to them a series of options in the area where they're interested. So they want to understand what's available, what's the best investment for them based on their needs, and also something that I was saying before when the connection was not great is that we can help with any kind of real estate in Italy, from €1 houses to the average second home in Italy to basically luxury properties and hotels and pieces of land. So like I said, we offer a large variety of services, and we do not focus exclusively on the legalities of the purchase process, but we try to go beyond that. We try to offer customized services to our clients. Now, let me explain how the purchase process works and how it can be done remotely. Because let me say that a lot of our clients decide to purchase properties in Italy through us, so through ItalianRealEstateLawyers.com, without having to go to Italy. And the process is perfectly feasible, meaning to buy a property in Italy without having to go to Italy. Or maybe some clients, they want to go and visit the property, but because the purchase process takes a number of months, they don't want to be in Italy for that whole process. They want us to handle the process. And that is possible and can be done through a power of attorney. So the client can give us a power of attorney that can be executed in the US before I'm sorry, I'm talking about the US because a lot of clients are from the US. Of course, we assist people from any country in the world, and we have a lot of clients in the UK, but the power of attorney can be signed before a public notary in your own country, and basically that allows us to acquire the property in the client's name, so not only on their behalf, but also directly in their name. Now, let me discuss a little bit the purchase process, so how that works in detail. The process in Italy is quite complex and probably more lengthy than it is in other countries. The process normally starts with a formal offer, which is submitted to the seller, and that when that's accepted, that constitutes already an agreement between the seller and the potential buyer, where basically they commit to move forward with the process. Normally, the formal offer is accompanied by a deposit, so the payment of a security deposit, which is normally the 10%, which shows the commitment of the potential buyer. From that moment, a lot of people decide to enter into another agreement, which is called a preliminary agreement, which is basically an agreement where the parties agree and again commit to sign the final deed of sale. And that's normally done when the parties want to do extensive due diligence, and I'd say it's very common for a foreign buyer to wanting to enter into a preliminary agreement to do due diligence and to make sure that the property is okay from a legal standpoint, from a structural standpoint, to ensure that the owner is actually the owner. So a lot of people decide to enter into a preliminary agreement. The final step is the final deed of sale, which is done, which is executed necessarily before an Italian public notary. So the Italian public notary is a key figure in the process and a necessary figure in the process. In Italy, the public notary is a public official, somebody that needs to certify the transaction, and it's normally somebody who went to law school and went to the notary school. So we're talking about a highly qualified professional, which is which makes this figure different from the public notary in many other countries. And the notary will also not only certify the identity of the parties who are selling and buying the property, but also he will make sure that the whole process is legal and it's done in compliance, fully in compliance with the Italian law. So the notary has a key role. And like I said before, the process can also be done remotely, because it's possible to grant a power of attorney to us to act on behalf of the client and in the name of the client. So the client will become the legitimate owner of the property, but we will be signing on their behalf. So they will gain the property rights, but we will be the ones executing the contract. Let me try to change slides.
Yeah, the next slide. Yeah, I can see how can IRLE.
Okay.
Yeah.
I probably went too fast with the slides, so I don't know if you want me to go back more and just change slowly. But I don't think it's necessary. So let me just comment this slide. So like I said, the services that we offer are market analysis, preliminary assessment, meaning we try to understand what the client wants, what they're trying to buy, and we do a series of free preliminary consultations to make sure that we understand the client needs. And then we handle the whole property purchase, like I said, from start to finish. And a lot of clients require that we also help them manage the property after they have purchased it. So basically, a lot of clients decide to invest in Italy. So they don't really want to live in Italy. They're not ready to live in Italy. So they want to buy an investment property, something that they can use basically as an investment until they decide to retire or maybe live full-time in Italy. So we also help those clients in basically managing the property. We offer property management services where we help the client rent out the property or sometimes even renovate the property. And for those clients who actually want to live in the property, we help them with the practical aspects of moving into the property. So setting up utility bills, paying annual taxes. So we help them with the practical aspects of moving into their property. Other services that we have recently introduced are our relocation service. So we help our clients who want to purchase a property with the purpose of relocating to Italy with the entire relocation process. So, of course, moving to Italy is a big move, and a lot of clients need help in figuring out how to enter Italy legally, how to live legally in the property, how to register with the national healthcare system, how to bring their belongings to Italy. So we help those clients, and we offer this traditional package with all of those practical needs and that basically they have when it comes to relocating to Italy and just changing their life to live permanently in Italy to enjoy fully their property. Finally, we also have decided to introduce a new service where basically we help people with tours of Italy, people who want to invest in Italy and they want to basically see and experience an area of Italy where they would like to invest. We want to organize these tours, which we've done already a number of times, but now we're offering that as a package. Basically, it's for families, individuals, or groups of investors that want to combine the life experience in Italy with visiting properties that they might be interested in investing in. I don't know if you want to maybe to see if some people have some questions at this point.
Yeah. I think that's a great idea. So thank you very much for that, Marco. Yeah, apologies to our audience again for cutting up, but we got there in the end. So yeah, Peter has asked two questions. One, so basically, I think when you cut out, he just wanted to presume that you cover all of Italy.
Yes, exactly, we do.
Yeah. Perfect. And he's also asked a question a bit later saying he's based in the UK. Do you have an office specifically in the UK?
We do not have an office in the UK. Like I said, we're based in Italy, Los Angeles, and New York. However, we assist UK clients, and of course, we do a lot remotely for people who are based in those countries where we don't have an office. Of course, people are welcome to visit our Italian office. Otherwise, we have the possibility to set up Zoom meetings or to have video calls with clients. But yeah, we do not have an office in the UK at the moment.
Perfect. Thank you for clearing that up. So Rebecca has asked a series of three questions. So the first question is: once you have a property price, what sort of purchase taxes are there to pay and legal fees such as stamp duty costs, etc.?
Okay, so at the time of the purchase, there is a one-time tax that you have to pay to the Italian government. So it's a one-time tax that you pay when you purchase, and it's payable directly through the notary at the time of the closing. So when you close the property, when you pay the price to the seller, you also simultaneously pay this one-time tax to the Italian government. Now, the amount is calculated on the value on paper of the property. So the value given basically by the Italian government, not the asking price, not the closing price, but the value on paper, which might be different from the actual purchase price. Just to give you an example, I was assisting a client buying a property on an Italian lake in the northern region of Italy, where we have all the lakes, and he was buying a beautiful villa with lake view, and the price was considerable, but the value on paper of that house was particularly low. So this client ended up paying a very low purchase tax compared to what he was paying for the house. The percentage is between the 2 and the 9% normally. So if you're buying your first home, if you meet certain requirements, the purchase tax could be as low as the 2%, or it could be as high as the 9% for people, for example, that are buying their second home in Italy, or people who do not want to reside in Italy. And the tax advantage is for people who are buying their first home and or want to move their residency into the property that they're buying.
Nice. So the second question from Rebecca is, are there any typical run costs for a property in Italy for people who reside in the UK and stay in the Italian property for less than 6 months a year?
Can you repeat the question? If there are what kind of costs?
So basically, are there any typical run costs for a property in Italy for people who reside in the UK and stay in the Italian property for less than 6 months a year?
So I'm not sure if she's referring to the annual taxes that are payable, and they're always payable. So those will be annual costs that are payable no matter what, and they're relatively low costs. So yes, those property taxes are due. People who stay in Italy for less than 6 months a year, they're not considered tax residents. So there would be, for example, no need to file a tax return in Italy in that situation. The income wouldn't be taxed, but I'm not sure if she was referring to all of that.
Yeah, nice. I think that covered the questions. I appreciate that. So the third question for Rebecca is: are there any known Italian government proposals in the pipeline that could, if agreed, negatively impact the current Italian purchase regulations and rules or ownerships of rules for non-Italian residents in the UK?
So the Italian government works. So the Italian law works this way. The purchase of a property in Italy is allowed for foreigners if Italians are allowed to buy a property in the foreign country. So if there is so-called reciprocity, and people from the UK can buy properties in Italy without limitations, even if they're not residents in Italy. And at the same time, Italians are able to purchase properties in the UK without having to be UK residents. So that's the situation now. We do not foresee any kind of limitations whatsoever in the future.
Okay, nice. So a question from Neil. He's asked, is there a costing percentage you charge for the full package? So what is the costing percentage you charge for the full package that you mentioned a few slides ago?
So I'd say that there is no percentage. It's a flat fee. And what the fee would be, that's hard to say without understanding all of the circumstances and needs, but it's not a percentage. It's more of a flat fee. And of course, we are happy to determine that flat fee in advance and completely free of charge before the client enters into any type of contract.
Okay, nice. So Rebecca's followed up with another question saying, is the second home 9% tax scenario include if you have a house in the UK, or if you already have a home in Italy, then purchase a second home in Italy, if that makes sense? So is there a 9% tax scenario? Yeah. Go on, sorry.
Yeah, you're taxed the 9% if you are buying your second home in Italy. The way to avoid the 9% and to pay the 2% is to relocate into the property within 18 months from the purchase. So if it's your first home and you are relocating into the property, so you will need a visa or a residency permit, and you do so within 18 months from the purchase, then you pay only the 2%. And of course, you decide to pay either the 2% or the 9% at the time of the purchase. And then if you do not meet the requirement for the tax discount in those 18 months, so if you fail to meet the requirement after the 18 months have passed, then you will have to pay the difference. There is also a way for Italian citizens, so dual citizens, who reside abroad and they're buying their first home in Italy, to pay the 2% without having to move the residency into the property. But that only works for Italian citizens or dual citizens residing abroad who are buying their first home in Italy.
Okay, nice. So just to clarify, because Emma's asking a similar question. So if it's her first home in Italy, but we're buying it as a second home and not moving permanent to Italy, what would that percentage tax be? That would be 9%, right?
If I understand correctly, yes. If I understand correctly the situation, yes.
Yeah, so she's got... if it's our first home in Italy, but it's our second home and we're moving, but we're not moving permanently to Italy, what would the tax be?
If you don't relocate into your residence, into your home, and you don't move your residency there, then it's going to be the 9%.
Okay, makes complete sense. Thank you very much for clarifying that. So we've got a question from Colin, who's asked, to retire in Italy, should I buy the property or register with the tax authority? I want to take advantage of the 7% flat tax.
So the 7% flat tax is something that has to do with the income taxation. So it's something that has to do with the taxation that is applicable to a person who moves their residency to Italy. And that's something different from applying for a residency permit to move to Italy, which is necessary in order to move to Italy. So I believe the question from this person is, I want to move to Italy, buy a property, and also take advantage of the 7% flat tax. And the correct procedure, if this person is a non-EU citizen, so somebody, for example, who is a UK citizen, is to apply for a visa. The elective residency visa is a very good option for people who are, for example, retired, people who can support themselves in Italy without having to rely on work activities, people who have a pension, for example, people who, like I said, don't have to get a job to support themselves in Italy. So that's a very popular option, the elective residency visa, and you apply for that visa through the Italian consulate in your country. Once you have the visa, you can also buy your house as an Italian resident. So you pay only the 2%, like I said, if you're buying your first house, in purchase taxes. And then you can also, if you meet the requirements, try to have the 7% tax regime.
Okay, nice. So we are slightly running out of time, but because obviously there was a delay with Wi-Fi issues, we'll ask a few more questions just to make sure we've covered everyone and everyone's happy. So Peter has asked another question. So he's asked, I'm a UK citizen, but my wife is Irish. How would this complicate or would it simplify things?
Well, it would simplify things. Of course, Ireland is part of the European Union. So if the wife is a European Union citizen, that has advantages from several standpoints. For example, the husband, can get a residency permit for spouses of European citizens. And the way it works is the European citizen relocates to Italy. And of course, there is no need for a visa. There is no need to request any permission. Within the European Union, people can relocate to another European country freely. And once the European citizen is based in Italy as a resident, the non-European citizen can get a residency permit for spouses of European citizens residing in Italy. And that would make the both of them Italian residents, which means that they could also buy a house, if it's their first house in Italy, at a discounted tax rate, because they would be basically moving the residency into the house.
Okay, nice. Okay, cool. So moving on. So Simon's asked, for apartments, is there a way in the purchasing process to understand what cost commitments come with the new apartment, new roof or government installation improvement costs, if that makes sense? Well, I can read that again, but so for apartments, is there a way in the purchasing process to understand what the cost commitments come with? If it's a new apartment, roof or government installation improvement costs. I'm not sure what that last bit means, but
okay, I'll try to answer. So when it comes to buying apartments in Italy, most likely we're talking about older buildings, older apartment complex, and because they will be located in the city center, in the historical center. So now with the bonuses that the government made available in the past couple of years, a lot of condominium managers decided to use those bonuses, which the most famous one, which is finished, it was called 110% bonus. So they allowed to deduct from the taxes the 100% of the works, 110% of the works that were being done to renovate, for example, the facade of an apartment building. So a lot of building managers, they decided to proceed with that. Also, the when you buy a unit into a condominium complex, you always have to take into account common charges, and because they're older buildings, in most cases the heating, for example, is centralized, so you don't have the heating that is just applies to your own unit, but you get it from the condominium complex, and you end up having to pay your share even if you don't actually use the heating, and you pay based on the size of your unit. Now, fortunately, a lot of condominium managers, they decided to install in the heaters some sensors that basically allow to count how much heating you use, so that decreases the costs. But yeah, when you're buying in Italy a unit within a condominium, it's likely that it will be an older building with some associated costs. So it's very important to understand those costs before you commit to the purchase. And that's, of course, what we're here for.
Nicely answered. Thank you very much for that. So we've got time. So Ben has got 2 questions. So we're looking to buy an Italian house owned by my UK parents. So as they do not need to advertise it, can we eliminate the need for an estate agent?
Yes, absolutely. It's absolutely possible and legal and advisable to just take the agent out of the equation when that's possible, especially in a situation like this.
Perfect. And that leads on to the second part of this question. So my parents and I live in the UK and we are buying in cash, no mortgage or loan. Can we transfer the purchase money to my parents into the UK bank account?
Well, where you transfer the money is actually not really relevant. So it's something that needs to be documented, but it doesn't matter in which country the money is, the tax is paid, and the tax is paid on the transaction.
Okay, nice. So we've got one more question. We've got time for one more question from Helena. So can we relocate to Italy if we are not retiring?
Yes, absolutely. So I mentioned before the elective residency visa. That's a very popular option for retired people, but also for people who are not retired. The only requirement is that there is a passive income equal to at least 31,000 euros per year per person. That passive income doesn't necessarily need to be from a pension or from Social Security, it could be from investments, for example. So it's not necessarily applicable only to people who are retired. I mentioned the elective residence visa because it's a very popular option, but there are also other options that people can look into to relocate to Italy. To name a few: the work visa, the self-employment visa, the investor visa, of course, for people who have who want to make credible investments in Italy, and people can also see if they qualify for Italian citizenship by descent, of course. And finally, the Italian government is approving very slowly. Unfortunately, that's something that happens frequently in Italy. They're approving very slowly the digital nomad visa, which will be ready in the next month, and that applies to people who are digital nomads, and basically it facilitates the relocation to Italy for somebody who is a digital nomad.
Nice. Well, thank you very much for that, Marco. So thank you very much for your insightful tips and advice. We had some great questions there. So we obviously strongly recommend that you get in touch with Marco and his team at the Italian Real Estate Lawyers directly to discuss your requirements in more detail. We'll be in touch shortly with their contact details. So thank you for all of our viewers for watching this session. I do really apologize. We had some technical issues earlier. So I really appreciate everyone staying on the call and finding out the rest of the presentation. So we wish you the best in your overseas move. We have various other resources available to help you with your buying journey, including guides, and other webinar recordings. So do take a look at our website. We also really appreciate any reviews. So please leave us a review by clicking clicking on the Leave Us a Review CTA in the middle of your screen. We thank you again and really hope that you have a successful property hunting journey. So thank you very much, Marco. And yeah, we'll speak soon. Have a lovely evening, guys.
Thank you, everyone.
See ya.